Welcome back. You're still with us on Open Exchange. Indluplace listed on the JSE's first residential-focused property fund. Gerald Leissner, the company's chief executive, joins Gary and myself for more on this. Gerald, congratulations on the listing. This was previously known as Arrowhead Residential. So just take us through the rationale behind firstly unbundling or moving away from the Arrowhead stable as a whole and the name change.
Okay. Look, I've believed for the last few years, I actually tried in 2009 to list a residential focused fund. For a whole lot of reasons it didn't work. We were approached about 2 years ago to acquire a 200 million rand residential portfolio. And we thought, well, you know, it fits the Arrowhead model. It's revenue enhancing properties. It's based on real estate. It would fit very nicely. And maybe over time this would give us an opportunity to do what we originally wanted to do. So we took it into Arrowhead Residential. We formed a company called Arrowhead Residential, which was a wholly owned subsidiary of Arrowhead. In the last 15 months, we've acquired another 1.4 billion rands worth of residential into Arrowhead Residential. And we thought the time was opportune to list it separately. Now, why list it separately? Other than the fact that it's a focused fund. We really believe that a residential fund is a lower risk fund than a general property fund. And we believe that we'll be able to raise money at a cheaper rate. And on that basis, it made sense for Arrowhead to have a separate vehicle. Arrowhead still owns 70% of the vehicle, but over time, that stake will come down. Not because we're going to sell, but as we raise capital, we'll get other entrants into the shareholder list. So that's really the basis. It traded this morning. We listed it at 10 rand. As I said, it's on an 8.2% forward yield, and it traded, thank goodness, at 10 rand 49. Okay. So I don't know if that explains it.
And Indlu?
Sorry?
Indlu, the name.
Indlu, you know, we were looking for a nice name, and we're in the residential market, and Indlu means house in Zulu. Where the place came from, I'm not sure. Okay. But Indluplace, and we quite like it. We like the logo, and it'll be fun. Actually, the whole thing has been fun.
Okay, yeah, no, I think, also congratulations on the listing. I think it's about time we had some pure residential property. I mean, from reading the SAPOA reports anyway, it seems like residential is also the flavor of the month at the moment. I mean, there seems to be a lot of appetite you know, for residential investment in the market. I mean, maybe if I can just ask you, I mean, you obviously used this listing to extinguish debt. I mean, a lot of the other property CEOs are saying it's very difficult to find new acquisitions, especially yield-enhancing acquisitions in commercial, industrial, etc. I mean, in residential, what is the market out there like? I mean, obviously you've used this then, I think, to extinguish all debt on the balance sheet. I mean, is that so that you can go and take advantage of opportunities quickly, or just what is it like trying to find investments in residential property?
Look, whatever we're going to do, we're going to have to raise money. If it's going to be debt or if it's going to be equity, so one will have to raise money. First of all, the pipeline in residential is huge. We really think we can grow this fund dramatically and fairly quickly. At present in the commercial area, as you said, pipeline's not that great. Also, the margins have narrowed on the commercial side. We think that, or what we've seen, I mean, we've purchased this 1.6 billion portfolio that we've got. The margin is actually quite good. So, depending on our cost of capital and the price at which we can buy new stock, the margin will be quite nice. So that's why we think Indluplace, the earnings should be good, certainly in the short to medium term. So moving into the sector now, there's certainly pipeline. There is capital from the markets, both equity and borrowings. So I think those two things come together quite nicely.
Gerald, you mentioned that you've been wanting to do this for some time, and this was an opportune time for you to come to the market. There was a note that came out yesterday from a well-known economist, Annabelle Bishop, saying that the interest rate hiking cycle is definitely going to have an impact on sentiment, and this will impact South Africa's residential property sector. How are you responding to this? Is this going to change the way in which you do business?
Yeah, look, I think there's no doubt that interest rates are going to go up, whether it's going to be slow or fast, but the interest rates are going to go up. On the one hand, that's going to mean that our cost of capital is going to go up because our share price is going to come down. That is going to happen because it's linked very much to bond rates. But what will happen is on the other side, property prices will come down. So again, we believe there will still be the margin in what we're doing. You know, if one's talking about individual prices, but certainly if you're talking about bulk property, if we're going to buy 400 townhouses, I think that prices will come down on the one hand, but our cost of capital will go up on the other hand. And I think that's what's going to happen. And that's happened in the commercial market as well. And that also fixes itself after a while. You know, your cost of the capital goes up. People for 6 months believe that they can get better prices, but then it comes down.
Oh, and we'll have to leave it at that, Gerald. Thank you so much for coming in, and congratulations once again. That was the Chief Executive of Indluplace. So that was Gerald Leissner telling us a bit more about this new listing.